Me. Good morning. This is the Oil Conservation Division's first regular docket of the month, which is generally hearings by affidavit. However, this morning we have a mixed docket. We have some status conferences. We have a couple of contested hearings, so it's a little different than usual. So let's get on the record. It's 8:30 a.m. I'm going to call the first case. This is Targa Midstream 26139. Entries of appearance, please.
Good morning, Dana Hardy on behalf of Hardy McLean,
Good morning.
and there are no other parties in this case.
Go right ahead. Oh, and today we have Mr. Anthony Harris as our technical examiner. Mr. Harris, are you with us?
Yes, good morning.
Okay, good morning. Go right ahead, Ms. Hardy.
Thank you. In this case, Targa seeks authorization to drill and operate a redundant Class 2 acid gas injection well, the Copperhead AGI number 2, at its Copperhead gas processing facility in Lee County, New Mexico. The well will be vertical and is located in Section 13, Township 24 South, Range 32 East. The well will inject treated acid gas into the Siluro-Devonian formations, including the Devonian, 31 Upper Silurian Riston Group, and Lower Silurian Fusselman formations at depths of approximately 17,299 to 18,699 feet. And Targa is requesting a maximum daily injection rate of 26 million standard cubic feet per day. Our exhibits include the testimony of Matt Eels, who has previously testified before the commission, and his credentials as an expert in environmental engineering were accepted as a matter of record. His exhibits include a copy of the application and proposed notice of hearing, along with the C-108 and an overview regarding the Copperhead gas processing plant. We've also provided the testimony and exhibits of geologist Tuan Biswas. He is a geologist Tuan Biswas, geophysicist Hassan Kaniani, and reservoir engineer Jesse Wu. They have not previously testified, and we have provided their CVs, and we will seek to have them admitted as experts if there are questions for them. We also have provided the testimony and exhibits of Paul Ragsdale, who has previously testified before the commission, and his credentials as a drilling engineer were accepted as a matter of record. Finally, we provided our notice testimony, which shows that notice was timely sent to all parties on May 5th of 2026, and we did timely publish on May 10th, 2026. So with that, I ask that the exhibits be admitted, and I expect that there are questions for our witnesses, and they are here in person and are available.
Thank you. Exhibits are admitted without exception. Can I have all the witnesses come up to the witness stand, please? There's a button on that microphone on the right. It'll make it go green.
There we go.
Thank you. All right. I understand that some of you have been previously admitted as experts before this division and some have not. Let's have those that have been admitted as an expert, please give your names first. Actually, let's do it this way. Would everyone raise their right hand, please? Thank you. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you. You can put your hands down. Now, for those people who have been admitted previously, one at a time, would you approach the microphone, state and spell your name, and tell me what area of expertise this division has previously qualified you as an expert?
Paul Ragsdale, P-A-U-L-R-A-G-S-D-A-L-E. I've been qualified as a drilling engineer.
Drilling engineer.
Yes, sir.
I haven't had that one before. Would you have a seat now? Thank you. Next.
So Matt Eels, M-A-T-T-E-A-L-E-S. Previously here as an environmental engineer.
Thank you. Would you have a seat? Next. Oh, you three have not been previously admitted as experts. Okay, fine. One at a time, have a seat at the table, please. All right. Would you state and spell your name?
Tuhin Bishwas, TuhinBiswas.
Thank you. And what field do you seek to be admitted as an expert?
Geoscientist
Geoscientist.
or petroleum geologist.
Let's go with that. Okay. Can you briefly give me some of your background, first in education, then in experience? When you tell me about your education, tell me what degrees you've earned, where they're from, the year you've earned them. And when it comes to experience, tell me your job titles, what you were responsible for, how long you've been doing it, that sort of thing. Go right ahead.
So from 2009 to 2012, I did my bachelor's in geology, and followed by from 2012 to 2014, I did my master's in geology
Where?
in Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay,
Oh, okay.
in India. And then from 2014, I started job in Oil and Natural Gas Corporation Limited in India. And I worked there for almost 9+ years as a geologist and followed by senior geologist over there. So from 2014 to 2019, I worked as a geologist over there. From 2019 up to 2024, I worked as a senior geologist over there. In between, I did my PhD from 2014 to 2022 in Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. And then I joined New Mexico Tech back in 2024 as a postdoctoral researcher. And that is from where I started getting exposed to these class 2 and class 6 wells. And I've been continuing that work till today. But in 2025, I got promoted as a research associate 3. So till today, I'm working as a research associate 3 at the New Mexico Tech Institute.
Who are you? Who is your, I don't know the term here. So who are you working under?
Oh, so my supervisor is William Ampoma, and another supervisor is Dana Ulmer-Scholl.
I'm familiar with Dr. Ampoma. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This work you did in India, was it in India or was it in the Middle East?
No, it was in India.
It was in India.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't realize that India had hydrocarbon resources. Do they?
They do, but not very much. So that's the challenge, is like you have to do a lot of exploration stuff. So I was involved on the exploration teams, trying to understand the subsurface better for the well log analysis, core characterization, all those stuffs. So India is supported by 20% from the in-house hydrocarbons, but rest of the things they import from outside.
All right.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Is it Biswas?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. From here on in, you're qualified by this division as a petroleum geologist.
Thank
Would
you so
have a
much.
seat and let the next person go? If you'll do the same thing, sir. Start with your name.
Hello, my name is Hassan Kaniani, Hassan Khaniani. So my education,
What field do you want to be qualified?
I want to be qualified as a geophysicist.
I can't. It's gotta be something, but.
But it's a reward.
Let's wait
We like
until we can mute whoever it is who's interrupting us. You said you wanted to be what field?
In field of geophysics, geophysicist.
Geophysicist. What does that mean?
Geophysics is an area of a science that you study physics for underground subsurface. And
Ms. Hardy, what else have we heard? I've not heard that one before as a field in petroleum industry. What else could we call that?
I think we have had geophysicists
I don't remember
testify.
that.
Yes,
Geophysics.
yes.
Okay, so geophysics. The science of physics of the earth.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about your education and then your experience.
Yeah, my bachelor degree is petroleum engineering, specialized in exploration from Iran in 2002. And in 2006, I was graduated in master degree from University of Calgary, Canada. The same degree, petroleum exploration engineering.
Okay.
And I got my PhD degree in 2015 from University of Calgary in geophysics.
Okay.
And after my graduation, I have been working from 2015 2020 in different companies in Calgary. And also I have done my postdoctoral research at the University of Calgary. And then I joined the New Mexico Tech.
Slow down a little bit. So I need to know more about your work in Calgary during 2015 to 2020. So what positions did you hold? What was your responsibility?
I was a developer, geophysics research developer. I have been developing software and also doing seismic processing. The company, sometimes they have problem for seismic imaging because they have doing different types of production. We have been doing like the method that we can place sensor in downhole to do more production. I mean, to do more imaging and also achieve more production from different scenario that they have. Some of them they have like it's called SAGD, and some of them they do hydraulic fracturing in shale gas.
What's the name of the company you were working for?
I have been working for Suncor Energy and Nexen. It's been a long time.
In Calgary?
Yes.
Okay, in Calgary. And what was your title there?
And my title in Nexen was like a research geophysicist.
Okay.
And I also worked in the it's like Absolute Imaging company. That was a geophysics company that they do the seismic processing. They were active in different part of the world.
So that's your specialty.
Yes.
Is the seismic
Yes.
imaging.
Yes.
And you wrote software.
And write software too. Seismic imaging, seismic interpretation, and yeah.
And then you came to
New
Sapporo?
Mexico Tech. Yes.
Yeah. When?
2020, I joined the New Mexico Tech as research scientist. I joined.
Who do you work under?
Dr. Robert Balch
I don't know him.
in
All right.
Petroleum Recovery Research Center.
Okay.
I came as a research scientist. We were working here mostly on, they were doing CO2 injection. I have been doing modeling, seismic interpretation. We use the seismic data for production of the model for reservoir simulation and seismic interpretation, of course, and fault analysis. And in 2023, I was promoted as an assistant professor of geophysics in New Mexico Tech. It is a joint appointment between the Department of Mineral Engineering and also Petroleum Recovery Research Center.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So from here on in, this division qualifies you as an expert in geophysics. Please have a seat. And
Thank you.
finally,
Good morning. My name is Jiyue Wu, as well as
go ahead. You can ignore that.
Jiyue W
J, what?
Jiyue
Okay.
W And I also go by Jesse.
Oh, I saw that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And what field do you seek to be admitted?
Reservoir engineering.
Reservoir engineer. That's what I
Yes.
understand. Okay. What education do you have?
I got my bachelor from Petroleum University in China in 2016.
What was the name of the school?
Petroleum University.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, and majoring petroleum engineering. And then I got my master degree in also majoring in petroleum engineering from University of Southern California. And I also got my PhD in University of Southern California, majoring in petroleum engineering in 2024.
Which University of Southern California? Just
Uni-
USC?
Yeah, USC.
USC. Okay.
Yeah,
In LA.
yeah,
Okay.
in LA.
And do you have any work experience?
I joined after my graduation. I joined New Mexico Tech PWRC in 2024 as a postdoc researcher. And this year, I was promoted as a research associate.
Who do you work under?
I work under Dr. Robert Bach.
The same as?
Yes, the director of PWRC.
I see. Oh, okay, very good. And what are you focusing on?
After I joined the PWRC, my focus is on reservoir modeling, and also I do the modeling and also the simulation work for the underground reservoir, and also focusing on the reservoir modeling, and also the small scale modeling.
Thank you. This division qualifies you as an expert as a reservoir engineer. We're going to present questions to the panel, which may be difficult since there are 5 of you and there's only one little chair over here. So would everyone come back up here, please? And what we'll do is Mr. Harris will ask a question. Whoever, you can all come a little closer. Whoever believes that they want to answer the question, just please sit down in front of the microphone so that we can record your answer properly, and then get back up and let Mr. Harris ask another question. Okay? All right. Very good. Mr. Harris, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, very good. All the exhibits have been admitted into evidence. So please ask your first question.
Okay, I'll start with Mr. Ragsdale, I guess, for some of the drilling engineering. If we go to page 10, please, of the exhibit pack.
I think, oh, very good. You're going to share your screen? Excellent. Thank you. Right ahead.
Okay, if we look at the top of table 1, the conductor casing, it'll be set at a depth of about 100 feet. I'm just curious, is there any aquifers that'll be penetrated by that initial 100 feet?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Is there any water there?
Aquifer.
Yeah, will there be any
Aquifer.
water or aquifers penetrated within the first 100 feet?
It's been my experience in this area, when we drill the conductor, that we have not encountered any water there. We generally either use an auger or air to drill it. So we would see the water if we encounter it.
Okay, so the AGI number 1 well that was drilled, no water was encountered, and
That's
it's
correct.
fairly close to this well. Okay,
Yes, that's correct.
thank you for that. If we go to page 13, please. Okay, number 3 there in terms of the tubing information. One thing we like to see is a tubing diagram showing the exact components that are installed into completion, such as your safety valve and the setting depth of the safety valve, but also whether or not you're going to install like landing nipples that could be used to set blanking plugs to isolate the reservoir if you had to do an intervention or mechanical integrity test, something of that nature. So just request that as a supplemental exhibit that you submit additional, or that you do submit a diagram showing tubing details with the components installed in the tubing. Is there any questions about that?
Okay. I thought we had a wellbore diagram.
Oh, can you,
No.
I'm
There
sorry.
is a wellbore diagram, but it doesn't show the tubing. It shows casing strings and setting depths, but there's no tubing details.
Okay, we can get that too. And we do in our packer, in our packer assembly, well, in the subsurface safety valve, we do have a profile nipple in it. And in the packer that we run, we have a profile nipple above the packer, and then we have two profile nipples below the packer. So we can set blanking plugs in 3 different places in the packer and in one in the subsurface safety valve. And I can get you a diagram of that.
Okay, very good. And then your packer, is it wireline set? Or
It is
tubing
wireline set. We generally use, and you can see in number 4, the Halliburton 7-inch nickel alloy permanent packer. And so with that permanent packer, we attach the seal assembly to the bottom, or the seals extension. And then we run that on wireline.
Okay, so the packer set on wireline with a seal bore extension,
Yes,
and
sir.
then you sting into it with a seal assembly with your
That's
upper
correct.
completion. Okay,
That's correct. Yep.
clear.
And we generally put a
Okay.
pump out plug rather than running a blanking plug. So once we set the permanent packer on wireline, then you have a barrier with the pump out plug in it.
Okay. Very good. Okay, thank you. If we could go to page 17, please. You just scroll down a little more, please. Maybe if we could straddle the page between 17 and 18. Yeah, thank you. So if you see at the top of the second page, the Bell Canyon and the Cherry Canyon. So that's an active injection zone, is that correct?
Correct.
So when you were drilling the AGI number 1 well, did you encounter any issues with lost circulation, or I guess if it's injection zone, did you encounter any issues with elevated pressures while drilling that section?
We did not. We monitored it, and we monitored our mud to see if we got any kind of injection water, produced water back, or H2S, and we did not. But on the number 1, as we proposed in the number 2, we did run corrosion resistant casing and corrosion resistant cement across the entire Delaware, all the way from the top of the Bell Canyon to the base of the Brushy Canyon. We ran a chrome alloy casing, and we plan to do that again.
Okay. And so I noted in your application that you're planning to do managed pressure drilling. Would that be planned for this whole section or only in the reservoir section?
For this section too. We
Okay.
we generally, once we set those top intermediates, when we drill this section, we use managed pressure drilling, and then keep it on to drill the pin sections too.
Okay. Bear with me for a moment here. I'll try to find some more questions for drilling perspective. If we could go to page 53, please, 5.3. Yeah, if we could just scroll down a little below those images, please. So you presented the Eaton formula for frac gradient, but just wanted to mention that the Poisson's ratio that's included in that formula is not shown. So for future applications, just please revise the equation accordingly.
Okay.
I did check the numbers, and the predicted frac gradient for the Poisson's ratio that you provide is reasonable. So no need to correct it at this point in time. Just wanted to mention that it does need to be revised.
Okay.
So if we could just scroll down a little more, please, to page 54. So based upon that equation, you're calculating in table IV-1. So you're calculating your frac gradient for the upper confining zone, the injection interval, and the lower confining zone. Just curious, from offset wells in the area, excuse me, do you have any leak off test data or formation integrity test data to confirm those values?
I'm sorry, could you ask that one more time? Do we?
Do you have any offset wells in the area that while you were drilling them, for example, each time you drill and set a casing, when you drill that casing shoe, you would do a leak off test or formation integrity test. Do you have any formation integrity test data or leak off test data in the area to confirm these parameters for frac gradient?
So we did run formation integrity tests and leak off tests in the one, and so we can furnish that to you. Is that what you're asking?
Not asking to furnish it necessarily. I'm just wondering, are these frac gradients that you calculated using Eaton's equation, are they within the boundaries
Within
that
the
you expect
range
from your,
yes.
Yeah, within the range of what you've seen from your leak off test data?
So I hate to say this, but this isn't my table. So I really haven't studied it, but so I would need to look at that, Mr. Harris, and confirm that with what we actually did.
Okay. We'll come back to that later.
Okay.
We'll park that one for now.
No, is that yours? It's yours. Yep. Okay.
We go to page 114, please.
Yes. Looks like, sorry, Erica forwarded it to me. I thought you still on there now, and yeah, it's on there.
Somebody's not muted. Now, if we could just scroll down a little bit, please. I'm sorry, at the top of page 114. It mentions that the integrity of cementing operations will be confirmed by visual inspection and the collection of a radial cement bond log. So for those radial cement bond logs, what is the depth of investigation, or what does that tool consist of, I guess?
So I'm not sure of the depth of investigation on that. That it's typically what we've run are the Baker Hughes SPT bond log or the ultrasonic log for them. I would just have to go to Baker and ask them what their depth of investigation is.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm just curious, would you also include a variable density log with that, or a traditional cement bond log whereby you can see the formation?
Yes, a VDL.
Formation
Yes,
bonding? Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So
yes.
it would include cement to pipe bond and cement to formation bond. You should be able to evaluate both. Is that correct?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, because those ultrasonic tools, they have a very limited depth of investigation. So it'll only show you your bonding to the pipe. It doesn't see beyond the pipe, no more than maybe a couple of inches. So
Right.
if you're planning to run both, that'd be very good, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then on page 115, it mentions in item number 12. So upon completion of drilling and cementing, they'll perform a spot acid treatment to clean out the wellbore prior to reservoir testing, and then a step rate test will be conducted. So for that step rate test, what size? I'm assuming you'll be using a work string for that.
Typically, what we've done, Mr. Harris, is just use the 4-inch drill pipe to run our step rate tests. before we run the 3.5 inch, before we run the permanent packer, we do it under a retrievable packer.
Okay. So you'd be pumping through a 4-inch drill pipe.
Yeah, yes.
Because I'm thinking here, the step rate test, well, it's good information to have, but the actual surface data, your surface pressure data is going to be different than what you'll see with your actual 3.5-inch tubing, or potentially will be, because if your inside diameters, not the same as your 3.5-inch tubing, that'll be used to complete the well. Any surface pressure data collected for the step rate test, and in terms of an frac initiation pressure that you may see, it won't be truly representative of what your friction parameters and your surface pressure would be with the actual tubing. So just mention that from the perspective of depending on what you're planning to use the step rate testing for, we may not be able to necessarily use that data as an apples to apples comparison to the parameters we'll see once the actual tubing is installed. Is there any questions on that? Yeah.
No,
Okay.
we do run bottom hole gauges to pressure and temperature gauges during the step rate test too. So we will have bottom hole
Okay.
information too.
Okay.
On it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we
Very
can,
good.
we could correct it with that.
So those memory gauges, are they real-time gauges, or how are those transmitting data?
They're real-time gauges. Yes, sir.
Real-time. Okay.
Yes. Yep. So
They're hung from wireline, or how?
wireline.
Slick line?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wireline.
Okay. Interesting. If we could go to page 121, please. You just scroll down to the bottom where the very last row for the production string. What's your anticipated bottom hole temperature here?
At 17,299, I would estimate that our bottom hole temperature is about 200 degrees.
200.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's, give me a little, leeway, maybe plus or minus 10 degrees there.
Okay. The only point I want to make is that if you get up to 230, that's the trigger point or the threshold for a normal Class H cement. If you go beyond 230, you're going to need to have additives like a silica sand or silica flour to mitigate strength retrogression. Are you familiar with that parameter?
Yes.
Okay.
We
So-
generally haven't seen temperatures that high. I have seen them in Texas in where we go deeper, where you're setting pipe at like 1,000 feet deeper than this well. So we're approaching it.
Okay. So how about the AGI number 1 well? Did you get any bottom hole temperatures from logging, or
We do
at that point? Yeah.
We do have them. Yes.
Okay. And so they were below 230?
Below. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay. Very good.
And we run pump test on all of our cement prior to pumping too. So we generally take that bottom hole temperature and give that to the cementer. In this case, it was Halliburton, and run, because those corrosion resistant cements are you have to tailor them to your bottom hole temperature.
Understood. Okay. Just one more general question in terms of the well location here, your proposed well location. I'm sure you're aware, but there are several horizontal wells that penetrate. I think it's maybe owned by some other offset operators, but I think the Bone Springs and Wolf Camp in particular, you've got horizontal wells passing through those intervals. So have you considered anti-collision avoidance in your wellbore trajectory?
We'll run directional pretty much on all the strings, and we'll have an anti-collision plan to avoid anything like that.
Okay, very good. Sorry, still jumping around here. I think that's it from the drilling side. Thank you, Mr. Ragsdale.
Welcome. Thank you.
All right, my next question would regarding the, probably best for Mr. Hassan regarding the seismic review. And if we go to page page 19, please. At the bottom of the page, actually we'll straddle page 19 and 20. So on page 19, it mentions the seismic review, and 41 seismic events occurred since 2017. So we are within 10 miles of an active seismic response area. And then your seismic, your fault slip potential analysis doesn't anticipate any impact on the seismic response area in terms of fault reactivation. So just got a few questions on that. So first of all, Mr. Hassan, did you run the fault slip potential analysis?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And so as part of that analysis, what fluid was simulated? Was it treated acid gas, or did you simulate produced water?
So we got the reservoir simulation based on what the reservoir simulation group did. Maybe Jesse can comment on the type of reservoir simulation.
Well, I'm interested particularly not so much in the simulation, but the actual fault slip analysis.
Yes.
So-
How it works is based on the reservoir simulation we get from the petrol. We compare with the regional stress. I'm not sure if I understand your question.
My question is, in your fault slip model, does it consider fluid type, or does it consider only pressure?
We consider only the pressure.
Okay. Okay, so pressure only.
Yes.
And if we look at page 21, please, we just scroll down. If you look at the image, you see at the top of page 21, we see there's two faults within 1.5 miles of the well location. So basically, you're just simulating pressure only. You don't consider the impact of what would happen if that treated acid gas plume reached those faults. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then on page 22, I'm sorry, at the bottom of page 21 on table 9. So as part of your fault slip analysis, you're keeping the fault friction coefficient constant at 0.58. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So then, since the fault slip considers only pressure, if the tag plume were to reach those faults, that could potentially change the friction coefficient on that fault. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
Okay. So is there any way to model that, or did you do any sensitivity on variable fault friction coefficients?
Yes, actually we do that. We do plus and minus of some ranges and compare the values. And these values come from the publication and they are very conservative. I mean, in fact, that maybe this value, if we choose the realistic value, it will be more conservative because this is like a 30 degrees coefficient and it can be even more safe if we use like if we are going to use less or different fault friction coefficient. And these values are very conservative, and I think.
So what range of friction coefficients would you have? What sort of range did you simulate?
We change plus minus like a 10%.
10%. Okay.
Yes.
And from, I guess, the switch to the reservoir simulation model itself and the treated acid gas plume, does your simulation predict that the plume reaches these faults?
Can you repeat that again?
Yes, for your reservoir simulation, the treated acid gas plume that's predicted over the life of the well, it extends out something like 10,000 feet, I believe, as a total diameter. So does that reach, did your tag plume intersect these faults in the simulation?
Yes, do you want to, but the reservoir engineers can respond to that.
Ah,
No, it
okay.
doesn't.
Okay, hold on.
It doesn't.
We need to know who's answering the question.
Okay.
So if you don't know the answer, say you don't know. If this other person knows, great, but please say your name before you answer the question. So do you know, you don't understand that?
Thank you for,
Sure.
Yeah.
No problem. Would you want her to answer this question?
yes, I want Jesse Wu to answer this question.
Perfect, thank you. Would you come over to the microphone, say your name and then answer the question?
季月无, and it doesn't touch the faults.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, that's the only questions related to the fault slip potential. I'll try to find, bear with me while I look for any other questions regarding seismic. I think that's it for seismic. So maybe we can move on to Miss Jessie. And if we could go to page 23, please. And near the bottom of page 23, we got table 10, logging and test data.
This table is outside the scope of my work.
Yeah, sorry. If we could go to page 24. The very top of page 24 for the injection interval. Some of the logs that you'll be running is the gamma ray, the litho scanner, the magnetic resonance imager log, formation microimager log, and then the sonic log. Is this your area of expertise?
No, it's outside my work.
Okay, so who could answer? I guess my question is, what's the purpose of the sonic log? Is it to evaluate porosity, or is it a mechanical properties log? What's the purpose of running the sonic log?
So it's Paul Ragsdale, the drilling engineer. The purpose of the sonic log is that what you want to know?
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a qualified logging engineer. We've always run the sonic logs. And I think at some point we will run a VSP in this well after we set it. And so this is where it's beyond my expertise, where they use the VSP and they tied the sonic log to the VSP.
Okay, but the VSP would be a vertical seismic profile, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So I guess, would it be a dipole sonic log that you're running to evaluate stress properties, or would it be more porosity? Or do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can find out, Mr. Harris.
The reason I ask is because if you run, as you know, a dipole sonic log, you can evaluate stress properties, in situ stress, which would be valuable to characterize the exact stress properties of your confining intervals, and also the stress properties of your disposal zone itself. So certainly something to consider is that could be a very good log.
Yeah, I was going to say,
sonic log.
I think we've gone, that's what the whole purpose of that open hole logging suite is to determine what those characteristics are in the formation. And so they've just listed it as a sonic, but I can find out if it's a dipole, and we can certainly recommend that to run the dipole sonic too.
Yeah, it's certainly recommended because it can help characterize, as I say, unless you've got a lot of leak-off test data, information integrity test data, in your confining interval above and below the injection zone, the dipole sonic could certainly assist you with, I guess, constraining those stress values as to what the in situ stress is, and ultimately the frac gradient is for your confining intervals, and also what the frac gradient is for your actual injection zone. And then when you do
Right.
the step break test, you'll know what your frac pressure is in the formation. You can then calibrate that dipole sonic log to that frac pressure and give you great confidence in what the confining pressure is for your confining intervals. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yep.
So yeah,
And
I'd
I'll
recommend.
talk to our logging people about that.
Mr. Ragsdale,
Okay.
if you would, hold on, Mr. Harris, we can't have people talking over each other. So
I'm sorry.
please let him finish before you answer. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Harris.
No, I think running the dipole sonic does definitely have some value and should definitely be considered.
I didn't hear what you said. Could you repeat that?
I say that the dipole, specifically the dipole sonic log across the reservoir and the confining intervals, has a great value in terms of verifying containment properties for the injection zone. And I would recommend including a dipole sonic log in your logging suite.
And I believe we can do that.
And,
Yes, sir.
and
Okay.
council's taking notes, Mr. Harris. Do you have more questions?
Unfortunately, I do. If we could go to page 54, please. Yeah, just below the table, on page 54, in the middle of the paragraph, it states that the bottom hole pressure, a maximum allowable surface pressure, will be 3,460 psi and a bottom hole pressure of 10,373. So, do you consider 10,373 to be your abandonment pressure?
Ji Yue speaking, and can you repeat your question, please?
Yeah, it mentions here that the bottom hole pressure
Yes,
relative to the maximum allowable surface pressure will be
yes,
10,373.
yes.
Is what is your abandonment pressure in the future? What abandonment pressure do you anticipate?
We monitor the pressure changes over time, and we have the abandon, like at the end of the injection point, we have the pressure. So if you take a look at the pressure profile, you can see the pressure. I believe it's around 8,000 psi.
At abandonment in the future, your future
At the
abandonment
end
pressure 30 years from now?
Sorry, at the end of the injection, we have a slice showing that abandoned pressure. If Miss,
And well, I guess the
Dana?
reason I'll ask is we can take this offline and have you submit it as a supplemental package, because we need to know the abandonment pressure in the future, because that'll
Yes.
dictate what mud weight or kill fluid
a-
weight is required to kill the well. So we need to have a statement on what the anticipated abandonment pressure will be for the well 30 years down the road.
Mhm.
And based upon that abandonment pressure, what the kill weight fluid will be required to kill the well. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. My next question would be for, yeah, maybe Miss Wu as well. Did you perform the modeling for the equation of state modeling?
Yes. We use
Okay.
the software. Yes.
Could we go to page 56, please? So near the bottom of that page, where it says predicted bottom hole pressure. So the second sentence, your CGM gen model, it uses an equation of state methods. So what equation of state did you use?
Robinson equation of state.
Ping-Robinson?
Yes.
Okay. And then in the table, we see that our wellhead temperature is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So did you simulate, using your equation of states, did you simulate the density of your treated acid gas at various
Yeah.
pressures and temperatures?
Yes, the equation of state, when we use the software, it consider the temperature and the pressure. So it calculate the density of the TAG.
Okay. And then would you agree that the treated acid gas is a compressible fluid?
Yes, we consider the treated acid gas as compressible fluid.
Okay. So as the reservoir pressure increases over time, the density of the fluid will increase as the pressure increases. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes.
So one thing we'll want to see as a supplemental package is, and this ties back as well to the future abandonment pressure, is we'll want to see a table with the density of the fluid at at least four different pressures and temperatures. So one parameter would be the surface pressure and temperature at the wellhead. And then we would want to see the pressure and temperature under static conditions of the reservoir. So it looks like here, the predicted static temperature would be 225 Fahrenheit. We'd want to see it at 225 and your initial bottom hole pressure, your virgin reservoir pressure, we'll call it. And then we'd also want to see it at the end of, or sorry, during injection conditions, because static temperature, static pressure, and static temperature will change under injection conditions. So we'd want to see your bottom hole pressure and temperature under both static and temperature conditions. So whatever your bottom hole temperature is predicted under injection conditions, we'd want to see the density of the fluid at those operating conditions. And then finally, at abandonment pressure, 30 years down the road, what would your anticipated bottom hole pressure be at that point in time, and the associated density of the fluid? Is that clear?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay, thank you. And the reason I'm asking for this is because this can potentially give you more injection capacity over the life of the well. Because right now, the equation that you use to estimate your maximum allowable operating pressure is based on the formula that we use for saltwater disposal wells for produced water. But since you're using the compressible fluid here that has a lower density, your abandonment pressure can actually be increased beyond what you've presented in your application. But in order to do that, we need to understand the pressure and temperature, the PVT properties of the fluid that's being injected. And then based upon that density, the future maximum operating pressure can be increased accordingly, which will give you more storage capacity. So we can take this offline, and I'll share an email with you as to exactly what we're looking for. But for right now, is that clear as to sort of what we're looking for?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Harris,
Thank
you
you.
sound like a college professor. And you have very good students who seem to understand exactly what you're saying.
Okay. Well, maybe my previous reservoir engineering background is coming back to haunt them. I don't know.
Mr.
Let me
Harris, Matt
see.
Eels.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
I only wanted to add one additional bit of information that we can provide in supplemental information. And that is that Targa intends to update the plume model annually based upon actual injection conditions to inform the future abandonment pressure even more as it goes.
Okay. Yeah, I think having adopted an iterative approach whereby it's updated every couple of years. I think that's certainly a value. Because the other thing, I mean, towards the end of the well life, once the reservoir pressure is elevated, that density of that fluid is much higher at the end of the well life than it is at the beginning. So you may start out with a maximum allowable operating pressure of 4,000 or 5,000 psi, but your fluid density is lower initially. Towards the end of the well life, that density increases, your maximum pressure is going to decrease slightly. So we need to have a good handle on that to avoid fracturing the reservoir, and also to ensure that we can readily source kill fluids in the event we had to kill this well, because we definitely don't want this fluid coming back to surface.
Very good. Yep, Targa will do that, and it's good information for both Targa and OCD. So thank you.
Yeah. Just bear with me for a moment. I think that concludes my questions. Yeah, that's all my questions.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Ms. Hardy, do you
Thank
want to
you.
just read, do you want to read back a list of what you heard Mr. Harris wants?
Yes, that would be helpful.
Go ahead.
The first item I had, Mr. Harris, is the more detailed diagram that shows the tubing, the well diagram. And I did email you a more detailed version. I think it was 2 days ago, but we will certainly file that if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I just need to make sure it makes it into the exhibit package.
Okay, we'll submit that in a supplemental exhibit packet. And then we also had emailed you a proposed abandonment plan. And I think that includes the pressure, but I will submit that in a supplemental exhibit as well. And then I think the
Yeah.
third item, is that what you're looking for?
Correct. However, the abandonment pressure that was used there seemed very low to me. So I think they may want to circle back, because once they get their parameters for the density of this treated acid gas, and because of the fact that the maximum pressure that was predicted using the formula for a produced water well, using water density, the fact that the treated acid gas is a lower density means we can have a higher surface pressure and potentially a higher abandonment pressure. So that may need to be updated. What the main thing, I'm not looking so much for an abandonment plan, but we do need to nail down what the abandonment pressure will be in the future, and to ensure,
Okay.
primarily to ensure that we can source kill mud readily off the shelf. We don't need exotic brines or any exotic fluids to mix a kill fluid. That's the primary objective.
Understood. We can get that to you. And then the third item I had was the table that you had discussed with Ms. Wu regarding the 4 temperatures and pressures.
Correct. And I can follow up with an email just to clarify exactly what I'm looking for here.
That would be helpful. Thank you. And
The
those
other
were the
thing
3.
Yeah, the other item would be including a dipole sonic log in the logging suite for across the confining interval and the reservoir.
Got it. Is that it? I think that's all I had on my list.
Yeah, I think so. Aside from if they do encounter temperatures approaching 230, they'll need to account for, excuse me, strength retrogression in their cement blend.
Right.
And actually, going through here, unfortunately, I do have one more question. If we could go to page 51, please. And this would be for Ms. Wu. So in the reservoir modeling section, in the second section, inputs and assumptions, the very last paragraph, in terms of the initialization of the reservoir simulator, there was several assumptions considered, and it mentions that the conate water saturation of the reservoir is initially 100%. And then it mentions that the residual water saturation is 55. So is that residual saturation, would that be considered irreducible water saturation?
Yes, that's the irreducible water saturation.
Okay. And so that's based on the work reference here from Jenkins and Benyon.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So if your irreducible water saturation is lower, would that permit more storage capacity in the reservoir?
Can you repeat your question, please?
If your irreducible water saturation
Yes.
is actually lower, so it can go
Yes.
below 55%, would that
Mhm.
that should increase the storage capacity of your reservoir? Is that a fair statement?
Yes, it will increase the capacity. And yeah,
Okay. And then I noticed that as part of your logging program, you plan to collect sidewall cores. Do you plan to run any core studies on that for water saturation or irreducible water saturation?
This is Matt Eels again. Mr. Harris, yes, we do plan to do that.
Okay. Thank you. That's it for me for questions. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, witnesses,
Thank you.
for coming in. Ms. Hardy, do you feel you could have this information back to us before the June 30th docket?
Yes, we could do that.
Okay, then why don't you continue this case to June 30th so we can wrap it up in a timely fashion?
Thank you. I will do that.
Okay, wonderful. We're off the record in that case. Let's move on to our second case of the morning. These are actually 4 cases. We have a different technical examiner for these 4 cases. We have Patricio Sanchez. I'm going to call Mewbourne Oil 26117-1819-120.
Good morning again, Dana Hardy on behalf of Mewbourne, and there are
you.
no other parties.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. In these cases, Mewbourne seeks to pool uncommitted interest in the Bone Spring and Wolfcamp formations underlying irregular sections 3 and 4, Township 21 South, Range 26 East in Eddy County, and will dedicate the units to the King Harvest 3-4 FedCom wells. Our exhibits include the land testimony and exhibits of Ariana Rodriguez, who has previously testified and been recognized as an expert in petroleum land matters. We have also provided the geology testimony and exhibits of Charles Crosby, who has also been previously recognized as an expert in geology matters before the division. Our notice information shows the notice was timely sent on March 24th, 2026, and we timely published on April 21st, 2026. So with that, unless there are questions, I ask that the exhibits be admitted and that these cases be taken under advisement.
Exhibits admitted without exception. Mr. Sanchez, who would you like to question?
Okay, I will have questions for actually the land component, the geological component, and the legal component. I'll start with the land. And if we can go to case,
Mr. Sanchez, hold on just a second. I need to get some witnesses sworn in before you question.
oh,
Did
okay.
you say that you had a legal component to your questions?
Yes, that would be regarding the public notice
Okay,
we
all right. I
talked
guess we
about
can,
yesterday.
let's handle that last.
Yes, that's why I mentioned them last month.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Let's get the landman and the geologist.
Thank you. Ms. Rodriguez, are you available?
I'm here.
Thank you.
And who else do we have, Ms. Hardy?
Our geologist is Charles Crosby.
Very good. I
There he
recognize
is.
both names.
Yes.
I'm here as well.
I see you. Ms. Rodriguez, can you turn your camera on so we can find you?
She's on.
Can you see me?
I can.
I can
All
see
right,
her
would you
if
both
she's-
raise your right hands? You swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Very good. Mr. Crosby, spell your name for the record.
Charles, Charles, Crosby, Crosby.
And you've been previously recognized as an expert
Yes, sir.
in what field?
Geology.
Very good. And Ms. Rodriguez?
Ariana Rodriguez, it's Ariana Rodriguez, Rodriguez.
And same question to you?
Land matters.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Mr. Sanchez, who do you want to question first?
Well, we'll start with Ms. Rodriguez first, and I guess this is going to kind of be across all of the applications. So I've got the application 26117 open, and if we could go to page page 12 of 33 under the exhibit A2. So let's go to page 12 of 33.
Yes.
Okay. This diagram here, could I get you to put the red box outline on that?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Going down into page 14 of 33. And again, this will be across all of the applications in a similar sense. We have the table here with the two tracks listed, and then we have the working. I assume this is working interest. One of the questions that I have is this percentage, and you can just go up and down the table here where it shows like 61.79%, whatever for Mewburn, right? And then this particular track goes across. I'm going to scroll back up to our prior page that we looked at, where we see various lots that we go across. Is the interest the same in all of those lots, or is it different? I'm wondering how we arrived at and of course that would apply to all the other ones in the table, how we arrived at that percentage with the different lots in that tract.
Yes, there's a JOA that covers pieces in sections 1, 2, 3 of 2126 and also 35 of 2027. The big JOA that covers everything.
Okay, so the interest is the same across. That's how you came up with this weighted working interest, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, and the same is going to be for this other table below, same type deal.
Yes, that one's the JOA that covers section 3 and 4.
Okay, so on the we're going to jump here a little bit. We need to go to application number 26119, the same table that we're looking at here. If we could pull that one up.
I will pull that up.
Okay, so on this particular table here, if you look at that bottom one for tract 2, it's missing section 4. It talks about the lots, and then section 4 is not on there.
That was a mistype. I should have.
Yeah. And then one other thing that I just should have mentioned earlier, this term contractual, that's referring to the JOA.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, very, very good. So we'll need to have that put on there. And this is the one that has the two wells on it. And on this one, this will take care of the geologist, if I can kind of intermit here with Mr. Crosby, please, Mr. Examiner. That way we can kind of get him out of the way, I guess.
Go right ahead.
Yes, sir.
Since we have 2 wells on this, if we could go to the geological exhibits, please. Since we have 2 wells, it'd be a preference that we have a gun barrel diagram. One wasn't really submitted for this, but in the future, you know, when we have more than 1 well, I mean, this one I can make heads or tails out of it. You know, one's second Bone Spring and the other one's third. But could we include a gun barrel diagram in the future? And if it's not too much trouble, if you could add one for this, it'd be kind of nice. And then one other thing, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we could add a gun barrel diagram.
Okay, and it'd just be for this one because there's 2 wells. And then
Okay.
going down to your stratigraphic column, you go to that, your log ties.
Yes, sir.
These are kind of getting hard to read. I know you put the depths on there, but when you're actually looking at the well logs, it's kind of getting hard to read them when you're kind of zooming in on them and stuff. And I guess my vision's probably not as good as it used to be, but you know, for this hearing, I wouldn't redo these, but in the future, maybe just try to improve the quality on those a little bit if you could.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's really it for the geologist. So I've taken care of him. And on the going down further, if we want to jump back to so no, this one here had a, let's see, this one we talked about the error in the table. On the case that's after this one, 1261120, that one also has an error on one of Mrs. I'm sorry, we should have went back to Mrs. Rodriguez. I don't need that. We're done with the geological questions. Sorry about that. So on the table for the last case, the 120, it shows section 3 twice. And I believe it needs to be corrected. The bottom table needs to be corrected to section 4. Let's see. Yeah, see there it says section 3. It needs to be section 4. And then actually on the this same table for the one that we just looked at, the 119, going back to that case, the table for it, I think there's a correction that needs to be done on the table for track 2. Yeah, let's go back to that one. Let's go to that table if we could. Yeah, keep going down. Yeah. No. Which is this the? Yeah, right here on the track 2, the total should be 100% there. So we need to correct that. And so let's see. For right now, Mrs. Rodriguez, I think I think I don't need. I may have to come back to you, but for regarding the public notice, there was a company that in the mailing that doesn't appear, and I guess that would be for Miss Hardy, I guess. Going down to where the notice is and the mailings, Sabinal. Yeah, Sabinal Energy. I guess they were acquired by Mach Energy, correct?
I think Ms. Rodriguez could answer that question.
Yes,
Okay.
I can answer that. Sabinal was the original owner, and then they sold their interest to Permian Resources. So we had originally noticed Sabinal, and then we noticed Permian Resources.
Oh, Okay, good, good. So that will help me then with my next question. And so let's go down to the public notice. Everybody that needed to be noticed was noticed by mail, I guess. So that takes care of that question. Okay, so here in the public notice, under the descriptions, some of the lots, the way that they're written, like for instance, if you look kind of like about, I don't know, a third of the way down, you'll see lots number 9 and 2224. Is that 22 comma 24, or is that lots 22 through 24?
I think that the newspaper, when they published, took out the dashes.
Uh-huh.
That's what it looks like to me.
Right. Okay. Well, I just wanted to point that out because, you know, I mean, for this, because I think everybody that needed to be noticed for sure, like the 7 all and their successors, who is Permian, were noticed via mail. We're good with this. What would be your position on that, Mr. Examiner?
Well, I don't have a position on it, Mr. Sanchez. I leave it to you. You're the one reviewing the case, and Ms. Hardy
Yeah.
to determine whether this is proper or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my thought is since the affected parties were all noticed via mail, I mean, and we've established that 7 all successor is Permian Resources. I don't have a problem with this then. I think in the future we've got to be careful with these because they can be misread.
We'll
Yeah.
work with the newspaper on that in the future to make sure they don't delete the dashes.
Yeah, because it's kind of problematic for this notice, you know.
Yeah, here I don't think it is an issue since everyone received notice by mail.
Right, right. Okay, well, I think since we've established, you know, I just wanted some clarification mainly on the lots and how everything was tied together and the interest, because I had a concern on how that was arrived at. I think we're good to go. If we can get all of these corrections done by the end of the day, I think we can take it under advisement, Mr. Examiner.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Sanchez. It sounds like Ms. Hardy agrees. This
That's
could be
fine.
By 5?
Yes, we can do that today.
All right, so
Thank
we'll
you.
leave the record open till 5 PM today and take it under advisement if you get that into us.
Thank you very
Please include a
much.
cover letter.
I will do that.
All right, sounds good. All right.
Thank you.
We now have a case which may be a contested hearing. I'm not sure. This is case 26145, Enduring Resources. Enter your appearance, please.
Good morning, Mr. Hearing Examiner Paula Vance, and I'm also going to enter an appearance for my colleagues Adam Rankin and Rayleigh Stearns on behalf of the applicant, DJ Operating LLC. And I was going to ask, can we take just a very short break? Because I don't know how long this is going to go on, and I just
Would like a short break.
yes, without
All right.
saying on the.
Why don't we take a 5-minute break and we'll be back on the record. Thank you, Miss. You ready? We're back on the record. I had called case 26145 Enduring Resources. Do we have any other parties, including pro se litigants?
Yes, I'm Adam Valdez. I'm assisting Rita Murdoch with the particulars of her concerns. I'm out in California, and Ms. Murdoch is also on the line as we speak.
Okay, I didn't quite catch your name.
Adam Valdez, Valdez.
Okay, are you an attorney?
No, I am not.
Okay, and what relationship do you have to Miss Murdoch?
I'm a former colleague and also friend, and she was married into one of my relatives.
Okay, all right. And are you representing Miss Murdoch during this proceeding?
Well, both of us will probably field questions because there are a lot of questions that I guess are concerning. I do want to state for the record that, you know, she is not consenting to the current application that has been provided to her of the surface commingling. And, you know, I just want to make sure that that record is straight.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll get into all that in just a minute. Are there any
Okay.
other party? So, Miss Murdoch, are you with us as well?
Hello, Rita? She texted me saying that you were coming back on, so I'm not sure what's occurring there. Can you
Okay.
ask her again? Maybe she's muted. I'm not sure. She's out in Oklahoma, and like I said, like
Yeah,
she
I
had
heard
said in
you.
her
I
communication-
understand. We're going to be here a
Okay.
long time if we repeat ourselves, so let's not do that. Freya, do you have Miss Murdoch?
Yes, I believe she's on. She's just muted.
Okay, does she know how to unmute herself?
I'm unsure. It looks like she's calling in
Okay.
by telephone.
Well, while we're waiting for Miss Murdoch to unmute herself and announce her presence, Miss Vance?
So I just wanted to first start by saying I think it's inappropriate for Mr. Valdez to participate. The rules are very clear about who can participate in an adjudicatory proceeding before the division. Under 1915-414C, conduct
Let
of
me get there.
adju-
Hold on.
Sure.
Let me turn the page. I had a feeling I'd need these rules today, so I have them. 14C, you said conduct of adjudicatory
Yes.
hearings. Let's take a look at C.
1915-414C, correct.
Appearances pro se or through an attorney. Parties may appear and participate in hearings either pro se on their own behalf or through an attorney. Mr. Valdez, do you have a copy of this rule handy?
No, I do not.
So do you know how to get to it, or should I tell you?
No, you can just give me the citation, but you know,
Okay,
in
so the site,
motion-
Mr. Valdez, this is not an opportunity to make an argument. I'm just trying to help you understand what's going on. The citation is 19.15.4.14 NMAC, NMAC. That stands for New Mexico Administrative Code.
Okay.
Does that help you get to the rule?
Yeah, I will get to the rule, but what I'm saying is I'm not sitting here as an attorney. I'm only assisting Ms. Murdoch because she is elderly in her 80s and she had very limited internet capability and was unable to communicate properly. And she has asked me to sit in with her and help her through this particular process.
Okay, so
And
Mr.
I
Valdez,
believe-
I don't mind your helping her participate.
Okay.
The
Okay.
rule does allow for Miss Murdoch to participate in person, either virtually or in person, but we can't have you asking questions on her behalf, is what I'm saying, because the rule is clear and counsel is correct in citing to this rule. And you can see
Okay.
it. Okay, so you can see it at 19.15.4.14 subsection C. So I'll give you a chance to read that while Ms. Vance continues.
Is Rita on?
Can you hear me now?
I'll send
Yes.
it to you.
This is Rita Murdoch.
We can hear you, Ms. Murdoch. Thank you.
Okay, I was on a little while ago and I could hear you all, but I couldn't.
Okay,
I don't know
but you
why.
can hear us, now, and you'll have an opportunity to ask questions as long as they're relevant subject matter questions at the appropriate time. But thank you for making your appearance known to us. Ms. Vance?
Thank you. I will, I just want to do two things, which is provide just a brief overview of how we got here, why we're here. And then two, I'm happy to address some of the issues that Ms. Murdoch brought up in her initial filing.
Go right ahead.
So DJR initially filed an administrative application, and that was objected to, by Ms. Murdoch. And so they went ahead and moved forward with filing a application for hearing. Now, in Ms. Murdoch's filings, you can see she's outlined when she received the notice, which was timely, and all of her objections were timely. And I would also like to point out, I understand that Ms. Murdoch in her filings has stated that she is elderly, she needs assistance and has some health issues. But these filings are pretty sophisticated for somebody who is dealing with those issues. Again, DGR did reach out to Ms. Murdoch after the initial objection. We do have our landman, Anita Ashland, who is available. I think she was already on the camera there.
Has she been
She has
qualified?
previously testified before the division. And she had a 2.5-hour conversation with Ms. Murdoch regarding her objection and her issues. And at the end of that phone call, and again, Ms. Ashland is here, she can go through any specifics with the hearing examiner and the technical examiner. But at the end of that conversation, and we summarize this in her statement, there was nothing specific that Ms. Murdoch asked about the application itself. And so DJR said, we're telling you now, we're going to go ahead and go to hearing. So that's why we're here. I will tell you that I did speak with a Gregory Buzzard, who is a attorney advisor with the Office of the Solicitor under the Department of Justice. I spoke with him yesterday because Mr. Valdez reached out to him concerning this protest. And I spoke with him, and I think that there's two key things. Obviously, this is me just regurgitating that conversation. But basically, the conversation I had with Mr. Buzzard was that in terms of the federal piece of the commingling approval, that falls under the Bureau of Land Management. And he did, in fact, speak with the appropriate contact who is reviewing this particular permit on the BLM side. And they said that DJR has, in fact, met all of the federal requirements for commingling, and that specifically Ms. Murdoch's allotted interest will not be negatively impacted, her interest or her royalty. Now, one other point that I want to make, and we're obviously here today, and it seems like we're moving forward, but I did want to address Ms. Murdoch's initial request and her continued revived request for a 90-day continuance.
It hasn't been granted, so let's not waste our time with that.
Thank you. Okay.
I do have a couple of questions for you before we continue. I did notice that you filed a dismissal in case 26185 for the White Crow unit.
Yes.
Okay, I have a couple of questions about that.
Sure.
Because we also have, if I'm not mistaken, another enduring resources case at the end of our docket today.
Yes, that's the Bobby B.
Okay. How are the three cases related?
They are not.
They're not.
It's just the same operator. DJR Enduring. DJR is a entity of Enduring. Enduring is the parent company. Anita can probably talk to the relationship between the companies better than I can, but essentially it's they're one and the same. So the applicant here for Ponderosa is DJR. The applicant for Bobby B is Enduring, and the applicant for the White Crow was DJR. But they are all same company, but different applications.
Okay, does the DJR dismissal of the White Crow unit application change any aspect of the proposed commingling project in 26145?
No,
Were any parts of the commingling design premised on future development assumptions tied to the White Crow unit?
no,
Okay. Does DJR intend to refile or revise the unitization application?
I do not believe so. As far as I know, no. And Ms. Ashland can probably answer that more concrete than me, but she's nodding her head, so no.
All right. Are the wells listed, the 124H, the 129H, the 130H, and the 144H, still the complete and accurate list of wells to be commingled?
Yes,
Okay. Have any permit completion or production changes occurred since your April 2026 filing?
I do not believe so. Ms. Ashland, no.
Okay, perfect. Well, based on your answers, I don't need to continue with my questions. On the dismissal of 26185, I just found it curious. Okay, that being said, what I'd like to know, and Miss Murdoch, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay. In a sentence or two, why are you objecting to this application?
Well, I received a packet which I was entitled to know what was going on those properties that I had interest in. And I read the packet through, and what Enduring was proposing is the commingling, but it sounded to me like they were doing it for the purposes of making their job more convenient, because they wanted to drill new wells and tie it to an existing central tank battery, and to avoid, apparently to please someone, surface disturbances. And they laid out a little thing about what is the purpose of commingling applications.
Miss Murdoch, this isn't answering my question. I just need a simple answer from you. Why are you objecting to this application?
Because I didn't agree with what they were proposing to do, and they made it sound like it hadn't happened, but they were going to do it. You understand? They said we are in the process of drilling new wells.
When you say, Miss Murdoch, when you say that you didn't agree with the application, why didn't you agree with it?
Because it wasn't clear as to where those wells were going to be and how they were going to be. The implication was that once production was started, that it would go through the systems that haven't been approved, as I understand it, and it would come out in those systems. And it sounded like the commingling was taking that product to, or giving it to somebody else. So that's what I wanted to know. And when I
Miss Murdoch, are you afraid that you're not going to get your share? Is that why you're objecting?
No, I'm afraid that that a lot of allottees are not going to realize what's going on here, and somebody else is going to be using our lease to access product outside of that lease area. And
Okay.
that's what
All right. I understand.
Ashland
Okay.
about.
All right, Ms. Murdoch, I understand. Okay, so, Ms. Vance, why don't you present your case? And then we'll allow Ms. Murdoch to cross-examine your witnesses. And as long as the questions are in a relevant subject matter, then I'll allow them. And you can object if they're not relevant.
Thank you.
So go ahead.
So in,
Ms. Murdoch, this is not, Ms. Murdoch, this is not your opportunity to speak. Ms. Vance is presenting her case.
Yeah, I got cut off, and I wanted to know what you did with Mr. Valdez.
Ms. Murdoch, why don't you just listen to what's going on and I'll let you know when it's appropriate for you to ask questions. In the meantime, just listen, because what you've said to me so far is there have been things that are unclear about this application. We're going to try to make this clear for you. Ms. Vance, go ahead.
thank you. So in case number 26145, DJR is seeking approval for surface commingling. In this, I'm not going to go through all the specifics of the land, but these are lands that are in the San Juan Basin. This includes one unit well, which is the Ponderosa Unit 129H, and then 3 Stratocom wells, which are the Ponderosa F312409 Federal Com 124H, 130H, and 144H. DJR has applied separately for a non-standard spacing unit approval that goes along with the agreed upon Stratocom communitization agreements that DJR worked with BLM on. Those are pending. They were filed April 9th. And the division is well aware of those because we need to have the spacing approved prior to the commingling approved. In our hearing packet, we've included a copy of the application as well as a statement of Anita Ashland. As I stated, she's already previously testified before the division and her credentials have been accepted as a matter of record. Her statement, again, goes over the discussion she had with Ms. Murdoch. And then that's followed by my self-affirmed statement of notice with a sample copy of the letter that was timely mailed to Ms. Murdoch on May 15th, 2026, as well as an affidavit of notice of publication, also dated May 15th, 2026. I will just briefly just go through, I'm happy to address those couple of points that Ms. Murdoch had in her initial filing. It'll be very, very brief. Ms. Murdoch's filing, her first filing, because on June 2nd, she filed something last night. She brought up the pending non-standard spacing unit approvals and the pending COM agreements. Again, I just went over the NSP aspect of it. It's not abnormal to have pending NSPs while you're going through the process of your commingling permitting. And on the COM issue, the CA approval for communitization agreements can take up to 2 years for approval with the BLM. Again, I have example orders where the division has approved commingling for applicants with pending CAs and PAs. And there are requirements within those commingling approvals of how an applicant then is required to submit the then approved CAs or PAs or whatever it is once that's been done. The second point Ms. Murdoch brought up was the concern about prospective additions. This is allowed per 1915-12-10 CG. I'm not going to go into the specifics, but it's allowed by the division rules. And then she brought up the issue of non-BLM approved meters at the wellhead. DJR is only required, we're before the division right now. And separately, DJR is going through the permitting through the BLM. They have an approved FMP, which is a facility measurement. still early in the morning, is they have an approved FMP. They do not have to have approved, BLM approved FMPs at every wellhead. Again, and that's under 43 CFR Part 3170. And with that, if there are any questions, we have our witness available to answer, Miss Anita Ashland, and I'm also available to answer any questions as well. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Are there any objections to admitting the exhibits into evidence?
No.
Not hearing. Thank you. Not hearing any. Your exhibits are admitted into evidence.
Thank you.
Now, you have one witness, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Miss Ashland, can you make Miss Ashland bigger? Is it possible? I can see you, Miss Ashland. It's just our screen. I'm just. Okay, thank you. Would you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Great. Would you spell your name?
Anita, Anita, Ashland, Ashland.
What is your position?
I'm a senior land consultant for DJR and Enduring.
Okay. And you've been admitted as an expert before this division?
Yes, I have.
In what field?
Land.
Okay. And you said you were a consultant?
Yes.
Okay. And who do you work for?
I work for Enduring Resources San Juan LLC, the parent company of DJR Operating and Enduring Resources LLC.
Okay. All right. Before Mr. McClure begins his questions, he's the technical examiner, Miss Ashland. I have a couple of questions about your interactions with Miss Murdoch. As you know, we're here today because of Miss Murdoch. We wouldn't be here otherwise. So I think it's important for us to orient this hearing toward Miss Murdoch's needs besides the division's needs. I understand that you have had conversations with Miss Murdoch.
I've had one conversation with Ms. Murdoch.
Okay. But it was a lengthy discussion.
Yes, it was.
Okay. In your own words, what is Miss Murdoch concerned about? Why do you think she objected?
My understanding from our conversation is that Ms. Murdoch generally distrusts oil and gas companies to look out for allottees, and that she believes that operators should not be allowed to have any administrative approvals that were not brought to hearing, and that she felt that it was important for as a matter of principle to request a hearing so that the operator would be required to fully explain the application.
Okay. And in your own words, in simple, plain English, what safeguards are there that will protect the allottee's interests?
Each well is separately metered, and the purpose of the surface commingling is for a point of sales. So there is no change to each allottee's interest in the Ponderosa unit or in the communitized area for the Straddlecom wells. And there is no difficulty in determining how much product is produced from each well. And as you know, DJR pays royalty to ONNR, not to allottees. We only know about the allottees from the mailing list that FEMA provides for us for the purpose of this application.
Okay. All right. It's unclear to me, mainly because I haven't studied the application. Is Miss Murdoch's interest being produced currently?
Yes,
Okay,
there is
and-
production from the Ponderosa unit.
okay. You said Ponderosa something?
Ponderosa unit. It's a
Unit.
BLM
Okay.
unit. Yes.
I see. So Miss Murdoch owns an interest in that unit.
Apparently, we only know that because of our request to FEMA for a list of allottees who have mineral interests affected by the application.
Okay.
I have no idea which allotment she has an interest
Okay.
in.
All right. So currently the unit that she owns or allegedly owns an interest in is being produced, and you're asking for permission to commingle that with other units. Is that right?
We're asking permission to commingle these 4 wells into existing surface facilities for the point of sales.
I guess what I'm trying to understand is you said that her unit is being produced now. Is that through a single well or multiple wells?
I believe there is more than 1 well producing it currently.
Okay. All right. Okay. So what's going to change for Miss Murdoch? From her perspective, what's going to change?
Ms. Murdoch will be receiving, along with 759 other allottees, she'll be receiving additional revenues from these wells.
Additional revenues.
Correct.
What do you mean by additional?
New revenues, new royalties. Royalties from production from the new wells.
Okay. Ms. Vance, do you understand what I'm asking? Because maybe I'm not asking you properly, so.
Yes. So as Miss Ashland was saying, I can explain it.
Yes, please.
So it sounds like, so Miss Murdoch has an interest that is within the Ponderosa unit.
Okay.
There are wells currently being produced from that unit.
Okay.
And so she's receiving revenues.
Okay.
Now DJR is asking to combine production from not just that unit, but now these 3 Straddlecom
Right.
communitization agreements. So bringing in more wells, more production means that will increase her revenue and the payments she receives.
I guess I don't understand why will that increase Miss Murdoch's revenues?
So, so her interest will stay the same.
okay.
I see what you're getting at. So the interest itself stays the same, but her payments will go up because there's more production. Does that make sense?
Okay, I'll take your word for it. So I don't understand why the wells that are producing from her unit right now won't give her the same amount of revenue.
They will, but they're going to be bringing new wells online. So again, her interest, the percentage of her interest doesn't change. But because the overall scale of the production increases, that means that her revenue and the payments will go up. So she will, along with, as Miss Ashland just stated, 700 plus other allottees, their interest, what they receive in terms of revenue payments will also go up.
Okay. And Miss Ashland, did you explain this to Miss Murdoch?
I attempted to do that.
Okay. But you feel like she didn't understand that?
I felt that she didn't trust what DJR as an oil company was representing.
Okay. All right. Okay. Before I go to you, Miss Murdoch, for any questions you have, I'm going to turn to our technical examiner, Mr. McClure. Mr. McClure, do you have questions for Miss Ashland?
Yes, I do, Mr. Hearing Examiner.
Go right ahead.
Miss Ashland, where is the central tank battery located at for these wells?
I would have to look at the application to give you the legal description.
Miss, I wonder if you have it on your side or if Miss Vance could share the.
Here it is. There it is.
Yeah, Miss Vance, if you could go to page 11 of 52. And it's about like halfway down. There's a description there.
Miss Ashland, can you see?
Yes.
The question is still, we're still waiting for an answer to the question.
The pad is located in the southeast quarter of the northwest quarter of irregular section 31, township 24 north, range 8 west.
I guess, Miss Ashland, do you think that that range that's listed there is correct though? Or would it be more accurate to say that it should be range 9 west?
I would have to check that. Can I get back to you on that?
I mean, I will need you to get back to me on that. Do you think we have like the C10, we have the lease map also in this application. Would that be of assistance to you, Miss Ashland?
Yes.
Miss Vance, I think there's a map on page 13 of 52. Only if your expert witness thinks that will be a benefit to her, I guess. I don't know if she can see the range on that or not, I guess.
No, I don't think the range is on there.
I don't think it's on there.
I can turn to my computer and confirm that.
That would be nice. Thank you. And Miss Vance, do you know what Mr. McClure is getting at?
It sounds like there might be a typo.
Sounds like it. We're trying to confirm what, the accuracy.
I'm sorry, I'm having difficulty locating the appropriate plat. It's just taking me a minute here.
Ms. Vance, do you have the answer?
I'm pulling up GIS right now to look and double check. If you'll give me a moment, I might be able to get to it quickly.
Okay, I have a plat. And it does appear that it should be 9 West.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
Go ahead, Mr. McClure.
Ms. Ashland, if the division were not to approve the surface commingling application, would DJR go ahead and drill these additional wells regardless?
I can't, that's beyond my expertise. I would need to have an operational person answer that. I'm not clear about the capacity of the current surface facilities. That's not part of of my expertise. I can get back to you on that, though. I can talk to somebody in operations.
Well, would you agree that the purpose of the surface commingling application is to reduce your operational costs for producing these proposed wells? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, but as far as whether the additional cost of a new facility would drive those costs high enough to make these wells no longer economical, you don't know the answer to that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Do we have any witnesses today that could speak towards that? Are you aware of, I guess?
No witnesses.
Do you believe, understanding you're the landman, so, well, I'll see if you know the answer to this. Do you believe that the facility, the separators for the facility will be adequately sized to get an accurate measurement of the production from the phase? Let me back up. Do you believe that the separators that will be installed in the facility will be adequately sized to accurately measure the oil and gas produced from each of the wells?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ashland. Mr. Hearing Examiner, I don't have any further questions for Ms. Ashland. At some point, we may want to talk to Ms. Vance in regards to notice concerns on that location of the central tank battery. I don't know if you want me to do it now or wait until Ms. Ashland's finished, though.
Yeah, let's wait till Ms. Murdoch asks her questions and then we can discuss how we're going to proceed. Ms. Murdoch?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Ashland is available for any questions you have.
Okay. My notes that I took the day I talked to Miss Ashland are a little bit different than what she's saying. I was specific to what was in my objection, and I just clarified that where are these new wells going to be drilled, and who would be benefiting by the new well?
Okay, so Ms. Murdoch, ask one question at a time. So is your first question, where are these wells going to be drilled?
Right.
Go ahead, Ms. Ashland, would you answer that question?
Yes. The wells are going to be drilled in the Ponderosa unit, and 3 of them are straddle-com wells that will be commingled or communitized rather with additional lands.
Ms. Murdoch?
And then I asked her, where would they be in relationships to the map that you sent in the packet? Would they be located on the currently leased lands or off of the current leased land?
the one well is completely lying within the Ponderosa unit. And 3 of the wells are partially in the Ponderosa unit and partially in the Nageezi unit or Good Times unit. I have to pull up some blood.
Okay, what she said to me that day was they would be drilled on the lands already leased and the mineral owners would benefit. Then I asked her, then what's the purpose of the commingling request? If somebody
Objection,
else-
this is not a question.
So Ms. Murdoch, you're not testifying because you're not under oath. What you need to do is just ask questions for the witness who is under oath, because that's the evidence we have to consider. So the witness answered your last question, and we're looking at a map. I don't know if you're looking at the same map that we are or not. But we're all looking at a map. It's labeled Exhibit 1, and it shows the wells, the 4 different wells. It shows the Ponderosa unit. It also shows the Nageezi unit and the Good Times unit. Are you able to see this map?
I saw it. I don't have it in front of me.
That's too bad. It would be helpful if you
And
did.
I will admit that I am not an expert in map reading either. And that's why I was seeking assistance from Mr. Valdez, because he was doing some locating stuff for me and kind of guiding me through this procedure. But I was the one that talked to Miss Ashland, and she was clear that those new wells that I assume hadn't been drilled would be on those leased properties that are already in existence.
Do you have another question for Miss Ashland?
Okay, I asked her who would benefit from this commingling.
Miss Ashland?
The answer is every interest owner in the Ponderosa unit will benefit, as well as some of the owners in the Nageezi unit and the Good Times unit. That will be part of the Nageezi unit and the Good Times unit are undivided units. So every allottee in both of those units will receive revenue attributable to the lands that are in the communitized area for the Straddlecom wells.
Ms. Murdoch, are you done with your questions?
No.
Well, we have a whole
then
room.
asked-
Ms. Murdoch, we
Okay,
have a
I
whole
asked-
room and a long docket, so please ask your questions in a timely fashion.
Okay, then I asked her if they were gonna do lateral drilling or horizontal drilling when they drill these new wells.
Horizontal drilling.
So I said, can I say something again?
No, Ms. Murdoch, you can only ask questions.
Okay. Okay, did you not tell me then that if this was a commingling application, that the enduring company would be the beneficiary of the new wells? And any
Yes.
production resources that were realized?
DJR does have a working interest in these wells.
Ms. Murdoch, you're going to have to ask your questions more rapidly, because we can't have long silences. We have a whole room.
I was putting it in. Okay. In the first application, I asked her, why are the current lessors being asked to withstand the cost of preserving the company's equipment? And are they requesting to use the same tank that's already been used for production on those properties?
My answer was and is that the royalty owners in these wells do not bear any cost of the commingling facilities. The working interest owners bear the full cost.
I did ask about how many Indian mineral owners would be impacted by this action.
The total, including yourself, of 760 allottees.
Ms. Murdoch, are you getting your questions from someone? Is that why there's this delay?
No, I'm looking at my notes that I talked when I talked to Ms. Ashland when we first started. We had a long conversation on whether there were geological surveys available and also archaeological surveys available where these new wells were being drilled and where the old ones were.
Ms. Murdoch, those questions are outside the scope of today's hearing. We don't control that.
You know, when they were talking about conserving land, that would be an issue to me.
I understand. We have to gather evidence that we can use in making our decision whether to grant or deny the application. So that's outside the scope, Ms. Murdoch. Do you have any other questions?
Let's see. Did you not ask me to withdraw my objection?
I asked you whether there was any additional information that DGR could furnish to you that would resolve your concerns. And you said no.
Did you not tell me that if I would not withdraw my objection and that we would go to hearing?
I did.
Okay, then the rest of my objections the rest of my questions with Mr. McClure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Vance, anything else?
I'll just ask two questions of Ms. Ashland. One, Mr. McClure asked you about the fact that filing this application, that it lowers the cost for interest owners. And you said yes. And does that have any impact on Ms. Murdoch's interests?
No, it does not.
Okay. And then two, through your understanding of surface commingling, does it meet the mandates for both state and federal requirements to reduce surface disturbances and environmental factors that could possibly occur if you guys had multiple facilities to develop this acreage?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Mr. McClure, anything further?
I have nothing further from Ms. Ashland.
All right,
Mr.
thank you.
Examiner.
All right, then the evidentiary record on this case is closed. Now, Mr. McClure, you did say that you might want to deal with notice. How do you want to proceed?
I was hoping to touch base with Ms. Vance real fast and see what her thoughts are in regards to the notice concern here in regards to the central tank battery location.
Okay,
So, of course, I'm going to advocate that we move forward as is, because if we look at the application, we do have a tract map that identifies where the facility is. And if you look through even, all of the C-102s, you can see reference to where the surface hole location is, and there's township and range information there. Again, there's contact information for myself and Miss Ashland, and I believe also, I think it was just Miss Ashland. Sometimes we include a second landman with these big commingling applications. But we have not received any follow-ups or questions for clarifying where that facility pad is. Again, there's, we have a tract map that visually shows where that facility pad is. And again, the C-102s make clear where the surface hole locations are. So everywhere else, you can find information as to the location for that facility pad within the application itself. Myself and Miss Ashland have made ourselves available to answer questions. And so I would say that it's a typographical error that is not material to the approval of this surface commingling application.
Is it, Ms. Vance, is it your understanding that there's greater than 700 interest owners that was provided notice of this of the admin application?
That's correct. And we have only heard from Ms. Murdoch, obviously, and a couple of other folks who actually mostly just reached out to provide updated addresses for themselves. And myself and Ms. Ashland and her coworkers have been working with FEMO to get those records updated.
I guess what I'm getting at is, do you believe that public notice was required in this instance to cure any insufficient written notice?
I don't believe that the notice is insufficient. Again, we have provided actual notice to each of the interest owners requiring notice, and a full package that includes a tract map and other information in there that can clarify exactly where that facility pad is. And we have received no questions about any inconsistencies. Again, the only folks that we have talked to have primarily just provided updated mailing addresses. And my colleague, Mr. Rankin, may have some other thoughts on the notice issue that you brought up.
Even if the division does require new notice to be conducted for the administrative application, do you believe that notice of this hearing was sufficient?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
Even if the division requires new notice be provided for the administrative application, do you believe that notice of this hearing was sufficient?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand your question. Can you reframe it?
Okay, in the event that the division requires DJR to conduct new notice for the admin application, in essence, you would conduct new notice to all 700 people. You would do new public notice again with the correction made to the legal description of the central tank battery. In that event, do you believe that the notice of this hearing today is sufficient?
Yes, I would say we're here. There's been public notice. We've had one interest owner appear. One thing that my colleague, Mr. Rankin, brought up is if you do look throughout the, he did a search looking through the application, but the instance that you provided in the application letter is the only place where the facility is referenced as being in Section 8. Everywhere else, it's referenced as being Section 9. I do believe, and I'm sure Ms. Ashland could probably confirm this, but DJR would like to move forward with this application and the approval process. And so if we need to do anything to satisfy the division, we're going to go ahead and do that. But I would advocate for the, and say that I believe that even being here today, we have satisfied our notice requirements before the division.
Mr. Hearing Examiner, I don't think I have any further questions for Ms. Vance.
Okay. So, Mr. McClure, has Ms. Vance's argument satisfied your concerns about the notice?
I believe notice of the hearing is going to be sufficient. The admin application, we may end up needing to address that, but I don't know as it's going to be relevant. I think it'll be relevant to the order we issue here, but I don't know as it will be relevant to dealing with or addressing Ms. Murdoch's protest, if that makes sense.
It does. It does make sense. Did you want to say something, Ms. Vance?
Yeah, obviously we're taking two different paths here. We have the administrative application on file and we're appearing here at a hearing. And so I understand what Mr. McClure is saying, but if we move forward with the hearing today and it's taken under advisement and it sounds like notice has been satisfied for purposes of the hearing, would we be getting approval just at the hearing? And what then is the status of the administrative application? So I just want to make sure, however the division sees fit to take the application under advisement and approve, we want to make sure that we've satisfied the notice requirement. So, because now we've got two applications.
Mr. McClure, do you feel comfortable answering that?
I mean, I know what my recommended procedure is going to be following this. I can share it if you'd like, just noting that it could potentially change depending on, what our director wants to do and such. Would you like me to, Mr. Hearing Examiner?
I think it's really up to your comfort level and if Ms. Sure, go ahead, Mr. McClure.
Thank you, Mr. Hearing Examiner. My thought process would be we would kick it back to administrative review, assuming that the division is comfortable upon further discussion as to that whether Ms. Murdoch's protest has been adequately addressed.
Okay.
As such, we would still have an admin order issued later once the administrative application is suitable. But in essence, we would reopen review of the administrative application and proceed from there.
Okay.
And I think just to jump in based off of that feedback from Mr. McClure is if we do go back to an administrative application, I think, I can work directly with Mr. McClure if he does have concerns about the notice. Obviously that's outside of the scope of the hearing and we can communicate directly on that. And if that is okay with him, once he's had a chance to talk with the director and hash out any issues there. But again, I'll just emphasize, I think DJR wants to move forward with this application. And if it means moving forward by administrative process, then whatever we need to do to satisfy the any notice requirements, we'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Vance. Mr. McClure, is there anything else or can we go in recess on this case?
Yeah, nothing else for me, Mr. Hearing Examiner.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Ms. Murdoch. I appreciate your participation. We're off the record.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to Avant and Permian Resources. There are a lot of case numbers here. They're basically rows 7 through 23 on our docket. There's really too many cases here to list. So entries of appearance, please.
Good morning, Mr. Examiner, Dina Bennett on behalf of Avant.
Thank you.
Operating 2 in all of the cases.
I'm Jackie McLean on behalf of Permian Resources in all of the cases as well.
Good morning, Ms. McLean and Ms. Bennett. All right. We held.
There's a lot of other entries of appearance.
I didn't know that.
Mr. Examiner,
Excuse me,
Jacob
Mr.
Eberhardt,
Examiner.
Betty Wozniak, representing Coterra Energy Operating.
Thank you.
And Mr. Examiner,
morning,
James
Mr.
Parrott, also representing Coterra with Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Parrott.
This is Jordan Kessler on behalf of EOG Resources.
Thank you. I think Miss Luck had something else to do, if I'm not mistaken, right? Miss Chance?
And Mr. Examiner, I apologize, I'm still here, but I believe that we did withdraw the entry for Waterloo in this case.
Ah, okay, thank you. Okay, back to Avant and Permian. We concluded the hearing in April, and we came back on the record for specific purposes. So let me just review those on the record today. This is basically a status conference in these consolidated matters. The evidentiary portion of the hearing concluded April 22nd. We have a verbatim transcript of both days. I actually reviewed that for another purpose, but that is available to the parties for closing arguments. That is something that we need to deal with today. So let's start with the schedule for closing arguments. Does anyone have a suggestion?
Yes, Ms. McLean and I coordinated and we agreed on July 14th for a deadline for the closing.
Well, now there's a bit of a complication because I just learned while we were sitting here today that Avant has actually filed new applications for Cisco wells in the Pennsylvanian.
I don't know how that relates to our cases, so you have to.
They're spicy chicken wells. They had originally applied for Wolfcamp D wells. They dismissed out those applications voluntarily, if you recall, at the start of the hearing. I know there's a lot of applications here. And so those were not part of the contested hearing.
Okay.
They have now filed new wells. They're, I believe, the same vertical depth because Mr. McClure had indicated that those are Cisco wells, the pool. And so I feel like we need to discuss how those should be handled by the division. I don't think we should have an entirely new contested hearing just on this one application. And I think maybe Mr. McClure could give some guidance on how the division would want to handle this new development.
Okay, so let me go to Miss. Let me first understand what's going, Miss Bennett.
Thank you.
What's going on here?
Thank you. So at the hearing, Avant did dismiss certain wells from one of its applications because they were actually deeper wells, the Cisco Penn wells, and it had always been Avant's desire to move forward with those wells. So we filed an application, it's only one, and we had anticipated, we sent notice letters out for that application on May 14th, and I looked it up and Permian received that application on May 20th. So we fully anticipated that Permian would object to that application and that it would be stayed pending the outcome of the contested hearing. So there's no need to hold up the briefing schedule for that case. Permian has the ability to object to it, and then it would be stayed pending the outcome of the contested hearing.
So before I go back to Ms. McLean for her position on this, did you say that you did file an application?
Yes, we did.
Do you have a case number?
I don't have it with me.
I do.
Oh, good.
I just looked it up. It is 26190, and I believe the notice letter is dated May 15th.
26190?
26190.
Mr. McClure, what I'd like to know from you is how does this affect your consideration of the cases that we heard in April? Do you want to look at that application?
I guess my question.
Good.
Ms. McLean, was Permian requesting any wells within that upper Penn as a part of these applications? If I recall correctly, the answer is no. Is that correct?
You're correct. The answer is no.
Mr. Hearing Examiner, I mean, essentially this would be the equivalent of, like, they're asking for a formation below what's in a part of these contested cases. So I guess I'm not sure what I, go ahead.
So you don't think one thing has to do with the other then?
Well, I mean, ultimately, whoever has all the batteries, I guess, might be the one that wants those wells, assuming they get drilled. But
Okay.
I don't think it's relevant to deciding the Wolf Camp and Bone Spring, I guess.
Compulsory pooling applications.
Yeah, that's correct, Mr. Hearing Examiner.
Okay. Ms. McLean, why do you feel like we would need to pause? Because I was thinking July 14, I'm glad the parties have decided July 14, but that's a long ways away. I don't know why. I mean, this transcript has been out for a month at least now. The parties knew we were coming back to basically set the usual 2-week deadline. So I have no idea why you guys are coming up with July 14. But let me first hear why you think this new application should in some way affect what we have in front of us now.
Okay, so I'll answer both questions.
Okay, great.
First, because I did not know about the application, what Ms. Bennett has said, if they're willing to allow us to object and then agree to just keep this case on hold until the original contested hearings are decided, we're fine with that.
Okay.
So I think that's a fine course of action. As far as the date, none of the parties appeared, no one's in any rush here. And due to like contested hearings, the June 30th docket, the July 9th docket, where there's like 100 cases, we just thought that would be a time that fits our schedule because no one's in a rush.
Okay. I didn't know anyone was in a rush. Usually when we have these contested hearings, I figured that whoever is going to win wants to move forward. I mean, I thought that was the whole point.
Well, I think that is the case, but we're still waiting on contested hearing orders from October. So we are not under any pretense that this is going to be issued quickly.
July 14 is fine with me. I'm sure I spoke to Mr. McClure yesterday. I know July 14 works for him as well. So July 14.
Mr. Hearing Examiner, if I could just clarify one thing.
Sure.
Avant is interested in getting an order in these cases. Avant does want the order to be issued and does want to be granted operatorship. It's just that there are other timing constraints that have precluded or that we're taking into consideration. So I would not agree with the characterization that neither party is in a rush.
Neither, that's okay. Thank you.
That's neither here nor
July
there.
14.
Yeah.
July 14 works. Freya, will you do a calendar reminder for July 14?
Yes.
5 p.m. The other reason that we were here was two other reasons that we came back today. The next thing is that we were expecting to have case 25835 renoticed or amended application filed and to have it renoticed because of the defect in the legal description. I went through the transcript carefully after Ms. McLean sent messages to Ms. Chance saying that she felt it was unclear what we wanted. I went through it. In my mind, there is no question. I can give you the citations and page numbers and line numbers if you like. And I don't mind doing that. I have them all here in front of me, but that is why we came. That is one of the reasons we came back today. That wasn't done. So case 25835, I don't see how we can move forward on that case.
And I did have some questions about the notice and I spent a lot of time reading the transcript. Because there was a lot of back and forth about do we need to notice all the cases with the Deb severance situation. And then Mr. McClure had said that we needed to put certain additional, change out information just in the land testimony. And so to me, it was very up in the air still for me in terms of what was needed. If it is, and that's why one of the things I wanted to ask here today, since I knew it was a status conference. So can you give me the case number again?
Sure. 258, I'm sorry, 25835.
Okay, 25835. So that one, my proposition would be then, since we still have the time to file for the July 9th docket and the closing briefs are not due until July 14th, we can go ahead and accomplish all of that prior to closing briefs being done. It's not going to change who notice is required to be sent to. And it's the same, that thing that we put into our admitted exhibit packets, because that's where we had initially thought we were supposed to put all of that information, is just revising the testimony and adding it to the land exhibits. And so we have done that in the initial exhibit packets. If the division would like us to refile and renotice, we're happy to do that. I wasn't sure also if it should just be swapped out and we use the same case number, or are we getting an entirely new case number for that one?
Ms. Bennett?
Thank you. First, I apologize for my voice, but I find it things like, communicating with Ms. Chance, I do that all the time for logistical items, but this seems more of a substantive request than a logistical item. And so I feel like I should have been CC'd on those communications, but putting that aside for the moment, I have reviewed the transcript in detail myself, and I was actually sick with strep throat that day, and I was here by myself, and I understood clearly from the transcript and from the discussion that day that the requirement was for them to submit an amended application. And in fact, Ms. McLean said herself, yeah, I think we can apply for the June docket and we'll do a new application in a timely manner for the June docket notice. So Permian definitely had the opportunity to cure this. As you said just a moment ago, the transcript has been out for at least a month. They've had their shot, they didn't take it, and it's time to move on.
And Ms. McLean, but Mr. McClure and I spent a lot of time reviewing the transcript. I understand that there were some suggestions from Ms. Bennett when she looked at the proposals that we basically rejected, okay? But it was abundantly clear, based on the transcript, that you had an incorrect legal description. If you look at page 171 of the transcript from lines 7 through 18, it should be the northwest quarter of section 26. So it's very clear there was a legal description error. So that meant that the legal description used in the application of 25835 and the division's published notice was incorrect. The hearing examiner instructed you to renotice page 175, lines 1 through 4, file an amended application and renotice the case. It's in writing. The instruction was not tentative. It wasn't conditional. It wasn't ambiguous. It was specified what renotice required. The hearing examiner detailed precisely what must occur. Page 171, lines 20 to 22. We would also send out notice to interest owners as well as publish in the newspaper. The division was to receive an amended application, a corrected abstract for publication, proof of publication, proof of written notice. We scheduled this for today, page 178, lines 1 through 11. This should take approximately 60 days. And I would hope by June, the parties would have submitted these corrections. Page 199, lines 19 through 25, page 200, lines 1 through 5. It's the argument that it wasn't clear isn't going to be persuasive. And I feel like the division has to give the parties equal due process opportunity. And at this point, it feels to me that Permian was given an additional opportunity to renotice. I mean, it's a structural defect. The case would be dismissed without that opportunity to renotice it. It was given, it wasn't taken. It just doesn't feel right to me to give us another opportunity. It doesn't feel fair to Avant. And that's the problem I'm having with the request. We really try to bend over backward for applicants. We try to move things along as quickly as possible. If it can be corrected, we try to allow ample opportunity to correct it. We don't like to dismiss cases. It's the last thing we want to do. I don't see an argument for another opportunity, but go ahead, Ms. McLean.
I mean, I guess I was unclear after reading because the transcript doesn't start there. It stop there. It goes on and on and on and on. And there is a lot of discussion about what we're supposed to do. And so since this was a status conference, I thought it would be okay to come and ask. And then with Miss Chance, she had reached out to ask, and then that was when I had said I had additional questions because I wasn't sure if the application was just supposed to be subbed out or if there was going to be a new case number or what exactly the procedure was for that. I do understand the division's concern here. There are 14 applications that Permian Resources filed. We presented, all of the land, geologic, engineering evidence for this Wolfcamp well, which is one of the many wells that we are asking for. We supplemented the amended exhibit packet to include the correct legal description for this case and this well. It was just the one typo. So I don't know if it substantively affects, what was presented at the hearing or not. And I believe our amended exhibit packet contains the correct information. We can, obviously we can file a new application at any time to be on a new docket, right? So we could file for the July docket for this well if we chose to, and then we would have to start all that process again. So I believe what we have submitted in our exhibit packet is enough.